Alright, so welcome back to the after edition here at the Classics Capsule. And if you notice, I have a pen and paper in hand because, when I thought that, first of all, here was my favorite topic, the sword and sandal films, Jason the Argonauts. I waited months for this show. And it finally came and I thought, yeah, I'm going to have stuff to talk about. And then, Sean hits me with a curveball saying, I'm going to do Jason and the Argonauts, but on another show. So I'm like, what did I show up for? Seriously. So then I figured, well, I'm going to have to make notes on those other shows that Sean talked about. But then not only that, it was like, and I wrote things down. You didn't mention this, you mentioned that, and then he mentions it. This is going to be a very short after edition. But either way, you look at it. Let's begin, shall we? First of all, what I liked was, what I found surprising was the long list of choices for Ben-Hur before they came down to Charlton Heston. Because, Sean already said that Charlton Heston already did 10 Commandments. Wasn't that successful? I mean, it's like, why would you not even think about Charlton Heston on that list? It seemed like he went down the list, and it seemed like, and I know Sean would have chopped it down, but he went through about 5 or 6 names before they came along to Charlton Heston. So that surprises me because 10 Commandments, which you can say is a sword and sandal film, and it probably would go under a biblical category if we get down to that, but that also is one of my faves, because obviously I'm talking about the remake version of it because the original one was made by D.W. Griffith, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, Sean's here making sure I stay on point. But but either way you look at it is, I never saw that. I like the Charlton Heston version, and that was one of the classics. Also, biblical, when we talk about biblical films, you can also have a capsule on Jesus films. Because the greatest story ever told with Max von Sydow. Oh my God, phenomenal. I watch that every year. So, back to Ben-Hur. Now, obviously, I was like, when Sean focused on, all the people behind the scenes and the chariot race, which is all the main thing we got to look at, I was looking at, well, what was Ben-Hur actually about? It was kind of like that Prince and the Pauper kind of story in a way, because he, grew up in a lap of luxury, and royalty, and he discovered that his family were actually Jews, and everything, and it was his journey. Now, this was a 3-hour movie. I don't know if we needed 3 hours for this journey, because he didn't actually encounter Christ until the last hour. Because also, too, is the chariot race was this whole big thing in the film. But then after that, then where do we go? So obviously, Judah's mom and sister somehow, came down with leprosy, which was a strange thing for people to have at the time. But it was one of the things that Christ went around curing, and so in him curing his sister and mother, all of a sudden that made him a believer. So it's like Ben-Hur was an agnostic. It's like, he was like, hey, first I'm living a life of luxury, then I'm finding out I'm poor, then I'm rising in the ranks, I had to battle this guy in the chariot race, and, but I just thought it was important that, that was a real key thing to Ben-Hur, because what is it about? You know what I mean? And what does it have to do with Christ? I thought it was interesting when Sean said that was the actual title of the book. Ben-Hur and what? Life of Christ? Don't worry about it. We got it on tape. Christ is in the title. So either way you look at it is that when is he going to meet him? And it's not about meeting Christ. It's about seeing the effect of Christ.
Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ.
A Tale of the Christ. So here's this one guy who, experiences one of Christ's miracles on his family. And then the mother and sister go and they watch the crucifixion. And these are all very powerful imagery in the film that should have been over an hour ago. But hey, what are you going to do? So that was my thing on Ben-Hur. Spartacus, I thought it was really interesting because not only was the writer Dalton Trumbull, which is a testament to writing in general, because I loved how Sean broke it all down about the race against Yul Brynner and Don Tremble and deciding, look, I don't care about this Hollywood blacklist. Because Don Tremble, I don't know if he wrote High Noon at the time. Did he? See, Sean doesn't know. Either way you look at it, it doesn't matter. Don Trumbull was famous for writing High Noon, so I didn't know that he wrote Spartacus as well. There is a movie with Bryan Cranston as Trumbo called Trumbo, and I'm pretty sure that this exciting, race to who was going to make Spartacus was in that film. But two things I want to mention about it was, one, this John Gavin guy who Sean's going to talk about later as Bond. I thought it was important to mention that John Gavin, for those who don't know, plays Sam Loomis in the original Psycho. And so I could see how he could be chosen as Bond because he had that strong jawline and everything. But Spartacus was, why did Kirk Douglas want to make this movie? I think it was because it was about loyalty. I mean, I think, and that's rare really at that time where it's like, not really. I mean, it was all about the script, these films that were being made, but I can't really think about films that they chosen to be made based on theme. But that's good writing, isn't it? It's like when he didn't mention the I Am Spartacus scene, the big famous scene, I am Spartacus, I am Spartacus, I am Spartacus. That little guy in the back. That's loyalty. But check this out. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert! When was this made, in the 60s? I don't remember the ending in this movie. So when I asked Sean about it, I was shocked. What a downer ending. So here's this big scene that we all hear about. I'm Spartacus, I'm Spartacus. Then I wonder, where does it go? He said, well, then they're all killed. What? And the ending of the film is they're all crucified, they're put on roads down a road, they're put on crosses down a road, and it ends on Kirk Douglas on the cross. Now, first of all, this is one guy on the cross because, when you're on the cross, it takes a while to die, going, man, why the hell did I say I was Spartacus? That's probably what was going on. But I didn't know this. I'm going to probably just go watch the film again, just watch it for the ending. You know what I mean? That's messed up. I mean, what I just said about themes, and the theme of this movie is loyalty, it's like, yeah, I'll die for a guy I don't know, sure. I mean, what kind of rebellion is that? Because those Romans just went back to go and feed them to the lions, you know what I mean? And stuff like that, so. But I want to say about Kubrick, I remember looking at Spartacus from the technical aspect, because it's funny how you said that the first director was scared of the scale. This was about one of the first times about multiplication. A lot of times, filmmakers shot practically, but there's a scene in Spartacus, if I remember right, because we studied about it, is that there was rows and rows of armies, right? Mm-hmm. And stuff like that. But they had to actually cheat that a little bit by multiplying all those people out there. But now when we get things like Game of Thrones, we could see its origins in Spartacus. Is which I thought was interesting, about filmmaking. Now finally, Jason the Argonauts. I was going to go on and on about this one, but I trust my man Sean, and I'll do an after edition when he does it. But the nose I wrote down was forced perspective, because we had that conversation, I grew up watching this movie, man, and the forced perspective, which we didn't know about back then, he talked about the clash in rocks with Poseidon, but it's not just this guy coming up out of the water, mate. It's not just about these rocks being rocked back and forth and he has to hold them back. But it's about the fact that, you got that shot where, he's got his arm out and he's like, get under it. That's really some complex blue screening, to do. And then, or when he reaches out at them and everything, he reaches his hand to the camera. If I reach my hand to the camera, how it gets bigger right now, that's forced perspective. then you got the Mount Olympus scene, which you did mention, you know, which is classic. I try to shoot this scene all the time, the scrying pool, you know, where Zeus and Hera are sitting on the edge of the water, and then, ooh, wave my hand, and then there's Jason looking up at me. But that scene when they bring Jason to Mount Olympus, and he's like this small, you know, this tall, you know what I mean? And they're all looking at him like Zeus is like this. Yeah, so Jason, what do you want? You want some elephants? You want some sheep? You want some girls? Just tell me what you want, you know? And then he's like, all I need is one thing here and one thing there. And he's like, oh, that's really not much, you know? But for his perspective, it's just fantastic how it all matches together. And it's kind of like when they built the pyramids, you know, and we say, yeah, you're idiots. There's no way you could build a pyramid because we don't know how to, right? So these kind of effects were just amazing. I also wanted to mention about Hercules and Caius. I mean, that relationship, that Batman and Robin relationship was kind of cute and funny and stuff like that. One of my favorites in the film. And I was going to mention the Harpies, and then he mentioned it. But when he mentioned it, he mentioned that Patrick Troughton played the blind guy, Phineas. I did not know that. But that was a very clever scene, because if you think about how that was shot, where, you know, they had to, first of all, I don't know how they climbed up those pillars to get, you know, walk along the, you know, around the square of the sculpture, you know, without a ladder, I'm saying, and carrying that heavy rope, supposedly. Oh, not rope, net. And everything, but either way, they did it somehow. And everything, where they put the net over the top of the Colosseum, so that way it could drop down onto the Harpies. We're not supposed to think too hard, people. This is called a movie, right? Supposed to be based on real life.